Hey, Gary.
Hi, David. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you.
Good,
Nice to
good.
see you here, joining us
Yes.
in our little LinkedIn live session.
Yeah. Shame. I'm not Dean, but hey, I'm sure people will get over that.
Well, you know why we've done that, don't you? Because last month I had a holiday, and he cheated on me. He did one of these without
So
me,
I
and
hear. So I hear.
I
So you're
thought
just
I'd
revenge,
just get
eh?
my own, just revenge. You're just purely a little pawn in our little revenge battle,
I feel. I
which
feel
is what.
cheated. I feel cheated myself.
Well, but if you're really good at this, you might get the gig forever. Think happy thoughts.
Do I want to be really good at this? That is the
Do you
question.
want to be good? That is the question. So what are we gonna talk about today? What have you kind of seen that
Well,
you wanna think about?
data capture. I've been to loads of places and they're still using really old-fashioned timesheets, if at all. I mean, there's some places I've been to they don't even do any job costing, and
Okay.
they know they're doing well because the doors are still open, but they don't know how well they're doing. And I've been to other places where they've got A4 bits of paper. They've got the guys scribbling notes down on there and what jobs they're running and what parts of the job they're running and how long it's taken them. But if they're working a 7.5 hour shift, you know what total that's at the end of it?
I bet it is 7.5 hours.
That's the one. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Is that the
No
one?
breaks, no nothing.
No
7.5
breaks.
hours full. No, exactly
Never
right.
went
So
to the toilet. Didn't go and read the
no.
newspaper. Didn't have lunch. Exactly 7.5 hours of work.
So to their employees, they look absolutely fantastic because they're so committed and they're on their bit of paper they've done so well. So
Okay. Well, probably they are the great people out there, but there's possibly some who aren't. I would guess.
I would
Um,
imagine so. There will maybe one or two that book that trend.
possibly. So, um, so shall we think about maybe different types of data collection that you can do, and sort of different degrees of automation maybe.
Yeah. Have you got some great ideas for me that I can
Well, I've always
tell
got great
people about?
ideas, haven't I? So shall we share a screen and start looking at a little bit of stuff as well and see what that might be like. So
Yeah.
this screen, if you haven't seen it or other people maybe haven't seen it, is just a fiery command workstation. So you're running a digital press, and you've got some form of means of printing stuff, and jobs kind of arrive into this machine from your schedule, from hot folders, from web to print systems, and you just need to print them. So you're
Okay.
probably doing this already. This is probably a familiar little world
Yeah.
when you're doing it, and you probably do simple things like this. So this is a simulator, so it will just go this job, and it will give me a nice printed message when it's finished. But you're probably already doing that. So this is like not changing what you're doing, it's
Hmm.
just what you do the other side of it. So we can put this data straight back in your MIS. Um, so that's where it starts getting clever because you're doing this bit already, aren't you? Really,
Yeah.
if you're running a digital press, almost any kind of variety, you're going to do something like this. Wouldn't it be great to capture that data as it's coming? Um,
Absolutely.
um,
Well, rather than scribbling it on a bit of paper.
Rather than scribbling on a bit of paper and remembering that job number, because as well, the world of digital, you're doing 5 jobs a minute.
Yeah.
This is not. This isn't a job that sits there and runs for 4 hours and you come back to it later. These things are really, really quick. You're doing lots of them. So that's why that's quite a handy thing because you're already doing it and you can get some data back from it. So that's one way that you can go and do it. Um, we can look at another way maybe. So what if you don't have nice new digital kit? You've been to
Hmm.
factories like I've been to where maybe things aren't quite as new as you'd like them to be. Uh, but you could put some sensors on some older machines maybe to go and get some data. Um,
That
so
would work, wouldn't it?
should we have a look at that one and
Okay.
see what happens there? We'll come back to this data. We'll look at the data coming back when we've done everything. I think so. So this would be an operator screen. So it's all on a browser. They don't, and they would arrive here and they come to their list of tasks to go and do. So these are my lists of tasks. I should really run the top task because it's the one that's most urgent and scheduled for me, but I'm going to run the bottom one that's called live on LinkedIn because that's what we're doing. We're live on LinkedIn, so I'm going to go and run that one. So operator, this is their bit that they still have to do. So they to tell the system what they're doing, they have to start this job, say what job they're doing, but everything
Yeah.
else they have to do, what you'll see on the screen now, I'm not touching it. So this is just a machine is doing things now. So
Okay.
did you see something change there on the
I
screen
do.
at
I
all?
can see my waste sheets going up, my gross
There you
sheets
go.
coming up, and my speed starting to speed up as well.
So the machine is just doing what it should do. It's just running. Um, you're in a make ready phase, and as you said, your waste sheets are going up, your overall sheet count's going up, speed's going up, and he's just doing his job. He's doing his make
Yeah.
ready, getting the machine ready to go. So that's a way that you can do data collection with this. An operator really doesn't do anything on this screen at all. So they're just working on the machine as they normally would. Whatever the machine normally does, it just feeds the data back in.
So he just needs to remember to press start as he's going to start the job, and then
Well, in my case, yes, but actually, a lot of the time we will. He's already got a button on a lot of these machines where he's starting his run, and he starts to
okay.
count on the machines. Actually, if we can, we try and use the buttons that are already there. Sometimes we have to put extra little buttons in. Worst case, he has to click on the start count here, like I'm going to do.
Okay.
Um, when he starts to count, you can see a little pop-up has come up here as well. So um, it's kind of forcing some quality questions at the operator. So often people kind of ask me, well, how can I make sure my operator's done what he should be doing? Well, um, he's got to enter a delta value. It's a printing machine. So what's your delta value? And did you check your color registration? And marked as yes.
Hmm.
So all that time, it still kept counting. The sheets kept on running. Normal things are happening to us there as well. So that's all. Um, that's just normal machine running. You see the speed is going up on the machine. Sheet count is going up. All the things that you would kind of expect to happen.
Yeah. That looks quite smart, and
So like that quality question came up at the start of it as well.
yeah.
It can do another little thing as well. So it can also tell you partway through your run, remember to go and pull a copy, a sample out of it. Um,
Okay.
so, or you could use it for other things, but in this case, when it reaches a percentage quantity through, it will flash another little pop up on the screen to remind somebody you should have taken a file sample copy out of it. Doesn't stop them working, doesn't stop them still doing their stuff, but it's just maybe another little aid memoir that you can give to operators so that it's right in front of them as they're working, as they're doing their normal stuff. Um,
As
so
you just say that, yes.
just as I said that, and it's just a checkbox, yes or no. But as soon as you click yes, it moves itself off as well. Um,
Okay.
so it's also feeding back whether we're early or late on our job, and it gives our operator this little view of, well, we're amazing here. We're running it so much quicker than what our estimated times were on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, all that stuff comes back through as well. Um, so maybe you're running this machine, and maybe for whatever reason it comes to a stop. So something causes it to.
Got a paper jam or something like that. Bit of rubbish that's going through, maybe.
Yeah, something like that. So you get this screen comes up and pops up at you, and again, operators can go and do their own thing. They can be just fixing the paper jam or whatever the problem is. Um, but if when they come back to their screen or when they start the machine up again, they have to give it a stop reason. So
Okay.
if you're a business owner, this is really useful because you can find out, well, what is my problem? Well, it's a paper problem. That's what I'm stopping for. That's what's slowing me down. That's what's not getting this running quite right. And it's storing all that down here in it as well. Um, Automatically, as soon as the machine starts going again, that stop reason will clear and it will go straight back into the run. So the operator doesn't really need to do anything. It's still
Just
telling them
fix the problem and then move on, carry on.
fix the problem and carry on. And you'll notice as well that maybe quite commonly when the machine stops, it stops for the same reason. So the top of my list is now this paper problem one, because that's what I just had before. So it's kind of intelligent of saying, well, the last time you stopped, it was a paper problem. Is it that same thing again? So that it's quicker for operators to go and find the stop reason, whatever it might be for it. And it's really just about getting you accurate data back as well. You want to know what's happening. And so this is feeding back to your schedule all the time. So you're getting status updates, live updates on that. And it's feeding back into your MIS as well with costings and status changes and updates as well.
Very good.
So all of that stuff comes back through. So we'll have a quick look at that. You're going to have to wait for me to print another 180 sheets.
You need to speed up a bit.
Well, I'll try. I'm doing my best here, don't you know?
11,000 sheets an hour.
It's an old press. You buy me a new press, I'll run it at 12.
Yeah.
I'm sure that.
I'll wait for you 180 sheets. Yeah, no, of course.
Yeah, the lows. I mean, the good thing about these is you can kind of trust that these are right. So when you're getting this back, you kind of actually know, well, it's taken this sheet. It's also, if you look closely here, this is actually taking it from my stock as well. So it already knows what my stock item is and whether I have enough.
So it's a nice visual, isn't it? You can see what's going on, like a nice dashboard for it.
Yeah, and this is just for the operator. So this is just for them to be able to see exactly what's going on, driving down the street, looking at, are they early on time? How many have they done? We've reached the end of our run, must pull a file sample copy, and then we've got to slow our press back down again.
Yeah.
And you'll notice here as well, as we didn't slow our press down quite quickly enough, it's going to count us waste, and it's classing it as overrun. So if in real factories you've got better ways of managing this than our little simulator, but it also, when it reaches the final end of it, goes to a wash up automatically. So you're constantly on a job. You're constantly doing something. You're kind of either making ready, running, or washing up. You don't have this kind of lost time really. And I've had that said by people who use this live, who say, my operator started working a bit smarter at getting onto the next job quicker because they didn't want to have anything here that didn't say a job. They wanted to always be running a job somewhere. Otherwise, it just logs them as not working.
Yeah, it's non-productive indirect times, isn't it? So
yeah.
So that's like the 7.5 hours on the job sheet that is shown at 100% productive all the time.
It's exactly that, and there's, you've been in factories enough. I've been in factories enough. We know that you're not always 100% productive on jobs that you can charge money for all of the time. That is reality. But you can be doing things to minimise those little changeovers, like getting your next job lined up so that it's ready to start. So there are things you can do to help, and we have had people say this kind of helps them to galvanise their teams to go and do stuff.
Yeah, I can see
so
that.
How good's your memory today? What do you reckon? Can you remember?
I've had a long day, but yeah, try me.
So you got to remember 3 numbers, 6, 7, 2, okay?
Oh, I can do that.
So 3 numbers.
Just to prove it, I'm going to write it down.
Okay, well, you can't go wrong with that then. I could ask the audience at home to type the numbers back in later, but it could be too much of a lag on it, so we'll just get you to do the work. So we'll end our job. When they reach the end of a job, they just hit end, and it goes back into this screen for them where they can go back and pick their next job out of the list and return them. So we want to go and look at that job and see the data come back onto the MIS. So first of all, let's get the right job. Let's look at this one here. So if I just refresh the production plan for the job. So first thing you see on that screen is it knows it's printed. Yep. So it's taking its status automatically from the system. It's our live on LinkedIn job, and it knows that this color in my system means that this has been run, this task has been run. So that's the first thing it's done. Automatically, it's updated the status. So if you're a account manager, sales guy, you want to see what your job is up to, you can see that. That's quite neat.
Yeah.
Costing side of things as well. So it knows who I am. I've used some paper up. these are all of the things I did. So my make readies, my runs, my wash ups, my paper problems,
Okay, that's clever.
everything is recorded. Every single bit of time is logged there, and they keep a hold of that as well. And then the last one to look at. What's your magic number you got to remember?
It was 672, David.
Well, that's good because that's what it says it's pulled here as well.
Fantastic.
So if you want to like a traceability of your stock, it knows you were planned 881, your actual was 672. If I had raised a purchase order against this job, which would have been really cool if I'd done that in advance, then it would also show how much paper you'd ordered, ready to start processing.
And that then goes into your costings as well, then, so you can see you've obviously saved a few sheets on that job.
That's because I'm an amazing operator, because I always run
Is that
for
what it
7.5
is?
hours, completely flat out all day long. It's just perfect. So that was the kind of the automated, the machine monitoring bit where you put stuff in there. But remember, we did that thing on the Fiery at the beginning as well. So
Yes.
we can look at those data, that bit of data coming back in as well. So if we look at that job that we ran, it's also moved itself to printed, and it also has put in its job costing. So it's reading from the RIP how much material, how much ink has been consumed, or maybe clicks, and how much time it's spent running as well.
So that was really minimal entry from the user's point of view. Then it's just starting the job, and it starts taking the details straight from the press, doesn't it? On that.
Yeah, on that one, yeah, pretty straightforward with that as well. So imagine you are a business owner, somebody, or a production manager, somebody wants to see detail about this. You can get a view a bit like this, a dashboard view. So show me all my top waste reasons, or why did I have downtime, just as a graphical view. Or when my jobs are running, show me my factory, show me the machines. It'd been really better if we'd done this when we were actually running it, but as it runs, you can see live performance, how far through a job you are. Again, that bit coming back into scheduling as well.
Okay.
So yeah, it can pull that through as well.
That's quite impressive, isn't it?
So it's not bad, really, is it?
Not compared to your A4 sheet of paper with all your scribbles on which you can't read, when somebody's at the end of the day has got to try and understand it and key it all into the job manually, which takes hours.
Well, except your A4 sheet, you can always just make it up, can't you? So that's much better as an operator, just make it up.
Well, I suppose you could go direct in the system, just manually key things in. But I suppose in this way, you've got who's logged it, who's done what, how long it's taken them to do it, and the users not have to do anything, so they don't need to make their own stories up, because it's what's happened, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it is so much simpler for users as well. And I mean, from my past of being in a factory, we had a system very similar to this, that operators just didn't have to click stuff; it just counted it from machines. It's just such a good way to get data back, and it kind of ties into that like scheduling bit as well. So you can't schedule stuff if you don't really know what's going on in the factory. So it's really good to find out what's actually happening in the factory as well.
So all this information is going to obviously go direct into the schedule as well, and tell the schedule that it can now move on to the next job, because that's all finished as well.
Yeah, it will do. Yeah. So back on our job that we were running before, if we look at our production plan just quickly, so the fact that this has changed color actually means that it's been marked as complete. When it is in progress, when someone's just running it, then it just marks it as a different color to say that it's in progress. But that's constantly being fed back to the schedule. And if you look back here, you can see things like our planned time for it. When it reschedules, this task will disappear. You saw that I ran it a bit early. I'm not due to run it till sometime next week, but because I did run it early, when it reschedules, it will then disappear, and it won't be a planned task anymore. It'll just vanish off my list. So it's really just about everything being all in one closed loop system altogether.
Yeah, it does keep it nice and tidy, that, doesn't it? And it's I think from users, from the guys on the shop floor point of view, it's it's not easy for them because they've not got to remember to do so. Because of countless times when people have forgot to log off from jobs, and the admin person the next day has got to go in and sort of say, "Oh no, they weren't on that job for 18 hours. They actually they did only do it for 2 hours," and sort of constantly having to go back and change things. And I've seen on some systems where they can actually say, "Okay, well, I run this job for 8 hours," is when they're doing the data capture, and they can actually either bring the time forward or the time backwards as well. So again, although it's not on a timesheet, they can still adjust their times on the data capture systems as well. So
yeah, so this really
takes that away.
This really takes that away. It's it's kind of, I guess you understand you have to record data to make sense of your schedule and to get your costing. This is kind of the next level beyond just recording data and looking at it. It's getting it much more accurate. So you want to do something with that data now that you've got it. Like, what's my average run speed? Let's just analyze it. How did my operators perform? All that is being tracked and tagged in it.
I think in the current light of everything, where rates and everything are going up, it's good to know where your jobs are, how long jobs are taken, and sort of really analysing your data so you can get a full understanding of what your factory is looking like and what jobs are worth taking on and what ones perhaps you can leave alone.
Or maybe what materials, combine this with, was it a really horrible material that didn't run very well, and did that slow my press down, or slow my folder down, or my binder? So, I mean, this is designed mostly for high-speed kind of machinery, where it's hard to get a count of exactly what you've processed. So at least the sensors are designed for that. Digital front-end stuff is for digital, so much more.
So those sensors, can they go on pretty much every bit of kit, or how do they work?
Pretty much every bit of kit. The only thing they need to have something traveling somewhere. So they don't really go on guillotines because things don't travel on guillotines the same. But as long as you've got a book, a sheet, a section, even a roll of paper, as long as it's traveling, it can be measured.
So you can't put it on a person, and that's a shame, isn't it?
Yeah, you can't put on a person, no. Well, unless you make the person go past light.
You move their hand every time they do something.
To say they're doing something, yeah. I think that's probably, let's not put it on a person.
No.
Forget that thought. You can schedule by people, though. So, in combination, you could schedule a person and you should know what machines they should be on, and then use the data collection on the machines to tag what they're doing. So, but you're getting quite sophisticated there if you're into that kind of world.
Yeah. Okay, no, that looks like an easier approach for everybody. Obviously, from the management side of things, getting accurate information, and from the user, they don't really have to do anything apart from start the machine and it counts it. So
yeah, give less stress in their day. Should make life a lot happier.
It should do. Yeah, that looks really good.
Excellent. Well, I wonder, how did you get on your first go at one of these very nervous live sessions?
Well, I've not won any BAFTA awards yet, I don't think. So there's not been any emails come through, so I'm just waiting for that to come through.
I turned my phone off. I turned my phone off because we normally get too many fan calls during the event. So
well, I've only had one or two flash ups so far, but I think they're completely unrelated to this.
So I don't know if there's any questions people want to throw in the chat. If there's anything there, we'll be on for another minute or so. If there's anything coming there, otherwise we'll let you all get back to your busy days. That's because I asked for stuff, Gary. There's nobody wanting to ask stuff. Maybe it's because it's so clear. It's just so simple.
It is so simple. It is easy to understand, and perhaps people have already gone back to their busy days because they've got it and they're placing orders for this new bit of kit, so they can.
They sussed it out in the first 10 minutes, and they said, "Why did you waffle for the other 15?"
That could be what it is.
And one of my colleagues, he's posted our email addresses. So if anyone's feeling like they want to find out some more, then throw some questions. I'm Gary, and that's David. So
yeah, they've got the names mixed up, haven't they, on the list?
Yeah, I'm sure they're the wrong way around.
Thanks, Richard. And thanks, Joe.
Right. Well, we'll call that a day then, Gary, I think.
Yeah, perfect.
It's been a pleasure doing this with you this afternoon.
You too. I look forward to the next one if Dean needs me to stand in.
Yeah, well, you never know. We'll wait for the BAFTA nominations to come in. We'll see where we go with it.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Excellent. Right.
See you soon. Bye.
Cheers. Thanks. Bye.